Hey, good morning, Black Oak family. Ryan Ledden coming to you with another edition of Breakfast with Black Oak. Again, I want to welcome all new clients who have come on board recently, and I apologize I did not do this one last week. It was hectic. I was just coming back from Vegas and then basically turning around and getting ready to go to Nashville. So I apologize I did not get my video out last week. But again, want to welcome everyone, new and old, to this video session that we do. Again, I'm Ryan, president of Black Oak Asset Management. We have other team of advisors that you may be working with. Again, Nick down in Macon, Parnick over in Cartersville, Autumn out of this office, and Damon out of this office as well. A couple of nuggets of information. I really tried. We were all together in Nashville for a annual meeting that we have up in Tennessee, and we were going to do a video while we were all together, so you could see all of our faces and know that we worked together. And we forgot. Nick had the great idea of breakfast one day or dinner or whatever it was, and then we were going to do it the next day, and we just forgot. It was on getaway day, and we just completely forgot. But went to Nashville. The Bobby Hotel is where we stayed at. Awesome place. If you want to go to Nashville, it's a couple blocks off of Broadway. That's why I've never heard of it, but it's very swanky. It's a cool place. The attention to detail at this place, it was awesome. So the Bobby Hotel, Nashville, Tennessee, highly recommend it. It was awesome. Wish we probably could have stayed there for another day or two and saw more of the town, but it was pretty compressed as far as meetings that we needed to go to, and learned a lot of information. It was good hanging out with everybody outside the confines of these walls. So anyway, just wanted to give everybody an update. So we're back in the office and ready to work. Hopefully, not going to be out of town anytime soon for hopefully for the rest of the year, maybe a day or two here or there. But for the most part, my traveling is done. So some of you have been emailing me. You maybe have been emailing your respective advisors with Black Oak, but obviously the market's been crazy. 2023 seemed like it was in a little bit of a recovery mode, and lately the volatility is back, and it just seems like the returns have what returns we had have almost vanished. So from my trusty, and I'll reference where I got all these numbers from my trusty app on my iPhone, which obviously I reference to is basically the stock app, and it reports all the stock market information. So I don't harp on returns a whole lot because we know this is a long-term game. I know some of you are taking money out and in retirement and don't have that longevity window, but we change those portfolios based off of your risk tolerance and age and a variety of other factors. So I wrote down, and I'll reference this list here on my notepad here. I've listed all the returns from different indexes, mainly in the United States. International, there's several different indexes. I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole, but international has lagged behind long-term the U.S. market. Short-term, it's actually hanging right in there. When I say short-term, I mean 1 to 2 years. It's hanging right there with the U.S. market. Long-term, not anywhere close. U.S. market is killing it. But let me share with you some rates of return based off of the market indexes that we commonly reference, or at least the media likes to commonly reference. So start with the Dow Jones. Dow Jones, that and the S&P are probably the two most quoted indexes. And again, the Dow is basically the 30 largest companies in the United States. So year to date, it is flat as a pancake. I mean, almost zeros across the board for 2023. 1 year, so from this date 1 year ago, not year to date, but 1 year, it's up 9.4%. 2 years, it's still negative at 3.45%. The 5-year average, or 5-year total return, is at 25%. Again, total return, so that's averaging about 10% per year. 10-year return is 119%. So you're looking at 11% for a 10-year time horizon. Now, again, if I did these numbers tomorrow, they'd be different. Every day matters on how this is calculated. But the Russell 2000, that's going to be your small caps, more of your aggressive growth in the U.S. market. It's down for the year at 1%. For 1 year, it's down 2%. For 2 years, it's down 22%. 5 years, it's up 6%. In 10 years, it's up 60%. So basically half of what the Dow has done. Those numbers are very different, but you still need to have, you should have, it's a diversification hedge is really what it is. So you need to have those small cap stocks in your portfolio as well. NASDAQ, it is up 27% for the year. But what most people don't remember, it was down 34% last year. Anyway, so stay with me. 1 year return up 19, 2 years down 8%. 5 years up 70%, and 10-year return is up 247%. 247%. That's over 20% rate of return average over the last 10 years. But it's got some volatility, and some of it is tech. It's basically tech stocks. And some of you don't have the stomach for that volatility. The S&P, which everybody loves to quote the S&P 500. Why don't I just put my money in the S&P 500 fund and let it ride? Okay, you got an argument there, I guess. Year to date, it's up 11.5%. But you know those returns, that 11.5% is basically of the 500 companies that are in there, 7 companies are carrying the entire load. You take those seven stocks out, you got a completely different return. All right, and I don't know that exact return, but that's some of the speakers that we listened to the last few days at the Silver Oak Conference. You take those 7 stocks out, completely different rates of return when it comes to that. For 1 year, it's up 12.7. 2 years, it's still down 2%. So the S&P is still not recovered from 2 years ago. Everybody wants to say how awesome it's done. It's still down. It's a great index, but it's still down. It's up 47% over the last 5 years and up 152%. So it's lagged behind the NASDAQ. Is it as volatile as the NASDAQ? No. But if you're looking for just straight rates of return, then you should just put your money all in the NASDAQ if that's all you're chasing. But again, we're not like that. We're not chasing returns. We're going to diversify and be as spread out as possible. So very different rates of return, but that's why we have them. Because we don't know what the next 10 years are going to hold. We don't know if the NASDAQ's still going to be outproducing the other indexes. It changes. It changes constantly. So again, diversification, long term. That's what we're here for. Each one of those indexes over the last 10 years are extremely positive in their returns. Extremely positive. Lately, no. Not so much, but this is the waves that you have to ride. And if it's too big of a wave to ride, then let's talk. Let's talk about your standard deviation. Let's talk about, which is basically your risk. Let's review those things. But most of you who have a risk score, you're going to be still within those range of returns that you set out. Because even though we're talking some 1 year volatility, 2 year volatility, I mean, the worst we have is down 22% in the Russell small cap over 2 years. So again, that's the worst index of them all. And 10 years, they're all positive. So I just want to continue to reiterate the importance of diversification and this is a long-term game. So again, we're here. I've had a few of you reach out just saying, oh, I'm a little uncertain right now. And I get it. You know, you've seen a lot of red, very little green when it comes to these numbers that are reported on our apps every single day. But I get it. This is part of it. You got to stay the course. You got to continue to invest. I get it. Some people are like, I don't know if I should invest in my 401k right now. Absolutely. This is the time to do it. Consistency benefits from volatility. It does 100% of the time. I mean, if you're going to leave your money in there for a long period of time, volatility, you got to just stay in it. Dollar cost average. Keep putting that money in there, and you benefit from that. It's the one where we give into fear is when the bad decisions do happen, and we don't want that. So again, call us. That's why we're here. But I wanted to get this out to everybody and just explain kind of where our thoughts are at with this. We see it. We pay attention. I mean, I'm sitting in our meeting on it's either Monday or Tuesday, and the market's just getting, or was it? I think that was in Vegas. One of the days it was just getting torched. I'm like, oh, this is terrible. I get it. I pay attention to those things. Even though I'm in meetings like that, we pay attention to that stuff. But I'm not going to make a knee-jerk reaction decision when it comes to your money and even my own. I'm right there with you in the trenches when it comes to that. So anyway, call us if you need us. Hope everyone has a great Friday. This weekend's going to be awesome weather. We actually get our first dose of fall, I think, true fall weather. So looking forward to that. And we'll talk next week, everybody. Have a good weekend.